Hari Om, good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipotent, the Magnificent, who also has the divine names Shikhandi, Jahushaha, Nahushaha, to such a divine Lord, together with obeisance, faith, devotion, and complete surrender, we offer our humble salutations. To seek your grace, your mercy, your blessings, your love, your compassion, your strength, your forgiveness. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities of Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, Mumukshutva, only and only to understand thy true nature. Bless us that we all have the first-hand experience of the divine within us, the aparoksha anubhuti. We again and again beseech in you, O Lord, that at the end of our lives, we reach thy heavenly abode. Om Tat Sat. Today, by the grace of the Almighty and with the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 322 on the 8th of March 2023. Shubhakrit Nama Samvatsar, Uttarayan, Shishira Rutu, Falguna Mas, Krishna Paksha, Pratama Titau, Uttara Falguni Nakshatra, Shula Yoge Balavakarane. On this auspicious day of Wednesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all make a firm resolve in our minds that Naham Karta Hari Karta Hari Preranaya Hari Prit. I am not the doer. The Lord is the doer who is within me. Everything that is happening in my life is only and only at His behest. Every situation, every incident, every circumstance, every happening, be it through a person, place, or an object. O Lord, I thoroughly understand that it is your game plan to lift this soul from the ocean of births and deaths. You have been preparing me in various ways which is beyond my control and understanding. I completely surrender to Thee. Accept everything with that prasada buddhi and lead a life peacefully, happily, and with contentment. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Om. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. Now, Lord Krishna has started imparting to us one of the most supreme knowledges, we can say, which are at a depth. So from verse 18, Karmanya Akarmaya Pashet. So from there his this kind of a very deep understanding starts. So he tells us that once who sees inaction in inaction while doing action, if we have to make it much more clearer. So we are doing every action, from time to time we are doing action. What he says is, don't do it as though you are the doer. Know that there is some force within you. This is that membrane of ignorance which I have filled in you, and unless and until you understand that, you will not be in a position to attain liberty. So he makes that very clear. Come with that akarta bhava. Akarta bhava means I am not doing anything. There is some force within me which is doing. So from there he prepares you to get rid of that ahankara bhava. Ahankara bhava means I am the doer attitude. So now as he went on telling us the qualities in verse 19, 20, 21. So what we have to basically understand, as he said in the verse 21, Yata Chittatma. Yata Chittatma means, have I been firmly established in the Lord? How do I know that? I am doing so much of sadhana. I am doing so much of prayers. I am doing so much of study. What is my level of achievement on the path of spirituality? Now this is a very important question. Everybody we have to ask ourselves. Anything we have that reference, as we say, self-assessment. Now let's say you are on a path of weight reduction. which is one of the common goals everybody has in life. No, I need to reduce my weight. And then when you have that in your mind, you always are looking, you're getting onto the weigh scale, checking, and then again coming down. It could be you may be checking twice or thrice in a day, but you are constantly monitoring. This is human psychology. You're working towards something, and where am I on that path? So in this way, as a sadhak, if you want to look at yourself, so Lord Krishna says, yes, well, your question is right, Arjuna. You want to know? So then in verse 22, which we have studied at the much lighter levels in our last session. So we'll try to go in at much more depth today on verse 22, and we'll also try to get in verse 23. All this is covering about to know. Now when we are talking of a particular quality, you please assess yourself. Where am I on this? And I will tell you that on that quality what you are today and what you were before you started your sadhana, you will see a big change. That is for sure. You might not have reached that 10% mark, but you will see a drastic and dramatic improvement in that particular quality. So let's start our self-assessment. So now we'll read that verse 22 and then understand what the Lord has to say. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yadruchalabhasantushto Dvandvatito vimatsaraha Samasiddhavasiddhau cha Kritvapi na nibhadhyate. Here, it is actually we who have complicated our lives, where the wants, the peer pressure and inhibitions, influences from various angles, all this has, it has completely driven a human being to altogether a different hemisphere in life. I'll give an example. Now, yadrucha labha santushtaha is the first quality. Just as a revision, we are taking this. One who is satisfied with what the Lord is giving. Now that is nowhere there. We are again and again in our prayer, we are telling this. So that that sinks in our mind. Now we look at one advertisement is enough to completely make our mind reckless. So here it so happened that a group of people, South Indians, they were going for Amarnath Yatra. And while they were on their yatra, this was about a few decades ago, it so happened that there was a landslide, which is quite a common phenomena during the Amarnath Yatra. And like about 40-50 years ago, if you see, in fact many people used to bid farewell to the family and go, and if at all they come back, it is a warm welcome as a rebirth to the people who have come back, and they are literally treated like God or devatas who have come. So this group was going and the landslide happened and they got stuck. Now when you get stuck in such areas, you don't know, there is no getting stuck by choice. Okay, this is a nice place, let us get stuck here, like as we take a halt, it's not like that. It is a natural untoward situation which has happened, and they are in such a place where there is absolutely no food. You don't have any fruits, you don't have any access to food. One person in the group was a diabetic and he was feeling extremely weak. Now you know how different levels of this sugar in them, it literally shakes them. Now this person was a high diabetic patient, and he started expressing weakness. Then in another 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, he is talking that he is going to die. That kind of a scenario. What he just wants is some food which enters his bloodstream. Now, luckily what they could see is there were some army men at a distance who were on their rounds. They were quite close to a border, I guess. So they saw these army men. Now they go and ask the army men, "Do you have some food, please?" Now the army man, he said, "Yeah, but that is, we keep it as an emergency food. I don't know what sense it will make to you." So what he did is he put his hand in a pocket and he removed a dry chapati, literally dry chapati, and he showed it to this family member of this patient. Now, being South Indians, they don't eat chapati. Okay, now at least in the last 15, 20, 30 years, South has acclimatized to wheat, but 50, 60 years back, it was not that kind of a food where many were acclimatized to. They look at that dry roti and that family member says, "What?" He says, "Yeah, this is our food." Now he says, "No, this won't work," and also he doesn't know Hindi. Now that person is talking in Hindi. Now from a distance, this diabetic patient sees what was happening, that person is giving something and this person is refusing to take it. So he rushes to that place and he asks him, "What is this?" He sees that, "Oh, it's dry chapati." He said, "Doesn't matter." He takes it from his hand and there is some hot water there. He puts it in that hot water because it is dry and this person is quite old. He's not, probably he didn't have enough teeth to chew it also. He dips it in hot water and he eats it and he gets his life back. Now, what we learn here is to survive even such basic food where your family member can reject, this so-called God created body and soul, it is enough for that. What we are doing is we are soliciting our tongue. We have got used to that fancy food, and now when that person is experiencing life and death, he immediately took it and see how it saved his life. So one is what is doing is to satisfy their own egos, their own standards, their own targets. We are at that level, and everything which happens to us in our life, it goes completely off track. We say, "What is this?" There is no santushta. Santushta means contentment, because it is the standards which we have built in our life. So as Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, food is like medicine to the body, and hunger is a natural disease. Imagine, every 4 hours, 5 hours we get hungry. It is a disease to the body. You can't stay away from hunger. So for that natural disease, food comes as a medicine. And how do we take food? There is at the mercy of the tongue. There is a very beautiful saying. It says, 1/3 of the food we eat is for our body and 2/3 of the food we eat is for the doctor. So imagine what we are doing. So in this way, yadrucha labha santushtaha means be contented with what comes to you. There are different standards at different levels. Don't go by that. And you as a sadhak should always be in a samasthiti bhava, meaning the samatva bhava. That has to become our nature. And accept whatever comes as Ishvara prasada. Yes, it is coming with the anugraha of the Ishvara. Anugraha means the grace, the blessings of Ishvara. So that should be our attitude, not looking at that person got so and so, why am I getting this? You will get into a complete mess. So one who is in this state of mind, samas siddhava siddhau cha kritvapi na badhyate. So a person who has reached this state, all karmas which are performed by him will be in that divine state. Anything he does will all reach the Lord. So this is the understanding which the Lord is giving us over here. Okay, now we go in detail from Dvandvatita, which we had left last. Okay. Now, after having understood this, Sama Siddhau, now what Lord Krishna is telling us here is Dvandvatito. Life is full of dvandas, pairs of opposite. Like you have a day, you have a night, you have profit, you have loss, you have joy, you have sorrow, you have birth, you have death. See? These are a part of our lives. Anything happens to us in our life, say, this too shall pass. Even for good. If you practice telling this when good happens to you, then it will be much easier for you to say when something untoward is happening to you. Don't be too glorified when something good happens to you. Just say this too shall pass. And don't be completely drowned when something wrong or untoward happens. Just say this too shall pass. So, are we not making use of this dvandvas in our life for our betterment? Most of us know. We unnecessarily get elated when good things are happening, and we unnecessarily get drowned when untoward things are happening. So which means what happens? You are going from one pole to another. So what we have to do is, we have to see that oscillation which is there in our life. Earlier I was getting oscillated. Yes, I know to what extent I was elated and to what extent I was depressed. Now you work out a proportion. And slowly you see that the proportion is reducing in your life. I was not reacting to this extent. Once you come to know about this, then you know that you are slowly progressing on this path. And understand, there is no one person who has got complete joy or complete sorrow in life. It is a mixture. The proportion may vary. No poor person will have only sorrow, or no rich person will have only joy. These are all wrong definitions. Everybody will have their own combination of joy and sorrow. So, how to be a Dvandvatita? Now this question. Okay, now I want to be a Dvandvatita. I am seeing that there are pairs of opposite in my life, and I want to get on to become a Dvandvatita. I want to cross over. Simple example is, let's look at day and night in our lives. During the day you have that bright sunshine, everything is visible and you can do so many activities, but in the night that so-called darkness that takes over, and it comes as a handicap for most of our tasks. So now what humanity has beautifully designed is that night is used to rest. What we have done? Now we have lights, torch lights and floodlights and so many kinds of light. But talk about 50 years, 100 years, 200 years back, all that was not there. So the human race, it understood, okay, now night is inevitable and let's make the best use of it. And he makes use of that night to take rest. rejuvenate the body, which is one of the most essential aspects. Like the pineal gland which we have here, one of the prime most gland of the endocrine system of all our 8 glands. Now what is its job? To release that melatonin, that hormone where a person can sleep peacefully. Can you imagine in creation how much importance has been given to rest and rejuvenation, that is sleep basically? That the king gland, so called pineal gland, its main job is to release that hormone melatonin to ensure you get good rest. So we have made use of the night for resting and the day we have used for our various tasks and goals and missions in life. So this way, this is one of the example. Now I'll give an example where my personal example. In my family, piles was a heredity issue. So from grandparents to parents and from parents to all the siblings in our family. Now you know piles is again a nightmare. Now when I got to know that everybody is having this and they are getting operated and they are suffering, so am I also. Then I said I should do something for this. Let me not get into any surgery or let me not get into that kind of a state of sorrow and pain. So I regulated my diet, eating the right kinds of food at the right time, in the right proportion, and also having a certain amount of exercise in your daily routine. So that completely cured my piles to zero extent. See, it came as a big health hazard to me, but when you approach it with in the right direction, now what it did, it changed my health overall. Otherwise I don't know, I would, if that was not there, probably I would have been eating all the wrong things and not taking that good care of the body by doing exercise. See how, so anything which comes to you can be put in the right perspective and can uplift our life. So next comes Vimatsaraha. Vimatsara means not to be jealous. This is one more very important quality in everybody. Jealousy comes naturally. You don't have to do anything for this. Now let's say you have a neighbor who is not doing that well as you are doing, okay, and you are always good about, you are feeling good about it, your neighbor or your relative, somebody, that's again human psychology. Now what's happening is you see that person, oh, by the 25th of the month, like the last week, he is already looking out for hand loans. He doesn't have that kind of money. He's asking his friends, his relatives, can you lend me some money? And he's trying to take credit from the various shopkeepers. And he has a old vehicle, okay, a scooter or a motorcycle, an old vehicle. Now to such a person, when you're seeing all this, somewhere your mind is happy, okay. Now see how jealousy creeps in. Such a neighbor of yours who was considered to be below you, suddenly imagine that he gets a lottery. What kind of lottery? Some old ancestral dry land of his. Now that was acquired for a new highway. And the government paid him very well. He got a huge sum of money. And with that he constructed a much bigger and lavish house. And once you have a big house and lavish house, meaning you have a big TV, you have a big sofa, then a big car, and then when you have all this, naturally the kind of proposals which come for your daughter or your son, they are again at a different level. So wealthy people came and they got in marriage with this family, and now what happens is the neighbor who is seeing all this, he starts feeling jealous. Vimatsaraha. Now, you see, where did this come from? If you ask yourself a question, it was a natural tendency. Now, if you are riding on your ego, this comes as a natural tendency. But if you are riding on the fact that whatever is happening to me in my life is all as a prasad from the Lord, and whatever is happening to the various other people whom I see around me is also a prasad from the Lord for their whatever good, bad they have done in their past and what their sadhana is in their life. So this way one should not be proud at any point of time if you have got that wealth, or you should not feel jealous when others have got more wealth than you. Because one thing is this Siri, they call it. Siri means wealth. Now this wealth is not at one place constantly. Tena tektena bunjitaha. The Upanishad says, whom do you think money belongs to? It belongs to nobody. Till the time that money is in your pocket, it is yours. It is never permanent in anyone's pocket. And we have actually clearly seen this with our own eyes. So many people who are so wealthy, I tell you, at the end of their lives, when they are almost on their deathbed, they are admitted to the hospital and they don't have money to pay the hospital bills. People who are having half a dozen cars. Can you understand how life plays with you? Money is something which one should not get associated with, feel proud that you have, and feel jealous when somebody else has. No. So, we have also seen some highly educated, the so-called we call as intelligent people, they may not be doing that well in life, and some very meagerly educated, he becomes a millionaire, he becomes a billionaire. How is this? This is again prarabdha. Now, you have a knowledge of this. If you have this knowledge, then you will neither get depressed or neither you will get elated. Except my life is a completely different story altogether. And I don't want to compare my life with anybody. Don't set standards for yourself. In this way, keep observing our jealousy aspect and note that it should gradually come down. It should not affect anybody else. Prospering should not affect you. Next, sama siddho asiddho cha. What does this mean? You have success and failures. In various, let's say you take for example our sadhana. Now, we want to meditate, let's say, and you sit for meditation and you see, my God, what are these thoughts which never come? When I'm talking to somebody and I'm trying to remember, that thought never came, but when I'm sitting in meditation at ease, that thought is coming to me and you get depressed. Asiddho means failure. And let's say you sit for meditation and suddenly you're able to focus, concentrate, no thoughts. That is siddho. You are achieved that success. Now, just offer both of them to the Lord. It is a situation in your life. See God in both situations. When there were unnecessary thoughts disturbing you, see Lord in him, in that situation. And when you were able to achieve success, see Lord in that situation. So make this asiddho and siddho as situations in both you see divinity. So this kind of a mental balance and equipoise, if we try to create such kind of a scenario, then you will never be depressed in life. Because depression is all about comparison with others. So if you are in this way, kritva pinana badhyate, karma will not bind you. See, from the 18th verse only we started looking. Akarma, seeing inaction in every action. I am not the doer. So in every thought, in every feeling, in every emotion, in every situation, what you are saying, I am not the doer, I am not the doer, I am not the experiencer. It is that Lord and Lord alone in me who is doing all this. So, as a sadhak, one has to get to this level. That is what is being taught to us over here. So now if you have to go at a slightly advanced level, where as a sadhak now, you are no more a beginner sadhak, you have crossed the intermediary and you are coming to the advanced level. So now, how do I look at myself? There again they say now the challenge is much more for you. Now the gradient is increasing. Earlier it was a kind of a slope, but now it is, the gradient is going stronger and stronger, it's to the peak. So there, what do I have to do? When situations are there in your life, let's say we as grahastha, watch yourself and observe. For this yadrucha labha santushta I am talking about, is there contentment in my life or not? You have to ask these questions to yourself. Is there that word enough in my life? And then you may be saying superficially, yes, I am contented, I see enough. Then why are you running? Why are you running? After what are you running? What are you doing which you have not done earlier, and what is that which you have changed from what you were doing earlier? There are so many people, I really pity. In fact, I should pity myself also, what I was earlier. And God's grace, this by Bhagavad Prapti only. Guru and Shastra came into my life and it changed my life. Always running after business. And I tell you, in that business there is no proper schedule in your daily routine. You are traveling like mad. Somewhere you are catching the 2 o'clock early morning flight, and then or somewhere in 4 o'clock flight, or you are catching the 1 o'clock midnight flight, and you are sleeping at odd hours, you are getting up at odd hours. There is no exercise and you are eating all kind of food here and there. It's not a regulated or a food of your choice, which is we call as healthy. So now, when you are in such situation, you ask that person, to him it's a very normal life. He boasts about it. Yesterday I was in Manchester, today I am in Dubai, and day after tomorrow I am in Tokyo. Wow. Now he boasts, he says, this is how I've been working in life. And for what? Not that if he does not work the next month, he will be hungry and he'll starve to death. No, ample of money you have, but still you do not have a direction in life. So one of the most important aspects of spirituality is that feeling of contentment. See, people do not decide their future. They decide their habits. We decide our habits, and our habits decide our future. So that much we should have control over our habits. We should know where are we moving, for what are we moving. Every step we just do by practice. Morning till evening, whatever we were doing, we keep doing. Now you ask a question, do I need to amend over here? Is this in excess or is this in shortage in my life? And moderate. And what should be the goal? The goal is to understand the Supreme. We are all there at the threshold. We just need to take a few more steps. Understand the divine and be in that knowledge of divine. Not to again go astray. Moderate our lives, our times. Yes, what you were doing earlier, you just can't throw everything and come. You need to resolve things. So get into that mode of resolution, but don't get into the mode of acquisition. This is what is extremely important. If at all there is acquisition, then it is for selfless service. So, this point what Lord Krishna is telling. If say as a grahastha, let us say you perform a puja, okay. Now you have your list, what do I want? You will say I want to buy a new house, or you will say I want a good marriage proposal for my daughter or my son, and you will say I want a good, better job, a promotion, better health. Now this is your wish list. Now what is the scenario if you are a spiritual seeker? You have that understanding that I believe in my prarabdha karma. Why should I ask which is already on the way, which is coming to me? Is there a better fool than us? Who is asking? Something is already coming. You have got a opportunity to ask the divine something, and what you are asking which is already on the way. So rather, knowing that what has to come to you will come to you as per prarabdha, work on asking the Lord that give me that shraddha, give me that bhakti. I want more. No, I am not satisfied here. No contentment on these fronts. I want more shraddha, I want more bhakti, I want more of prapatti and that more of mumukshutvam. I want to go to the peak levels on all these. So as a spiritual seeker, one has to ask. So yadrucha labha santushta, in this see how what refinement we are doing for the advanced person. Otherwise it is just said that be contented with whatever comes. No, I am not contented. I want more bhakti. So this way, now this sadhak, he dvandva tita. How does he look at the pair of opposites? So he works, first let us take vimatsaraha. Now in vimatsara means no jealousy. He does not look at any competition. See, jealousy comes when there is competition, and when there is competition, he is ahead of you, you feel jealous. If he is behind you, you feel proud. No, I am not in race with anybody, I am not in competition with anybody. This is the kind of a sadhak will look at all this. When I was doing business, suddenly I pounced into, it was a plunge getting into the Vedanta course, and I was admitted, I got admission, and when I was studying, all my close friends, relatives and all, they were saying, you're doing so well in life, you're doing such good business. Now, you know, spending, because it was 365 days, not a single day holiday, and for 2 years. Now almost about 6-7 hours every day, business was hampered. So they were saying, why are you doing this? You can always do after some more time, you know, when your children take over your business. And they were giving me all these kind of stories. You know, you feel, it is scary when they say all this. Arey, what will happen? Yeah, I have been doing business for last 30 years. You mean to say all this can go for a toss? Somewhere everything, yeah, because competition takes over. Now if you are not attentive with your clients, somebody else will take your clients. So that kind of a fear also creeps in. But it was the Lord's grace. When you are progressing on that spiritual path, then it was a clear direction to my mind. Even if anything goes wrong with the business, I said there is nothing will go wrong with my life. And I was stable in what I was doing. I never gave up. And having perfect attendance, perfect understanding of the course, and perfect grace of the Guru and the Lord, I was able to progress. And what happens is, they tell you, you know, Arey, see, if you are there for 1 more year, see how many crores you learn. Do it after 1 year or after 3 years or 5 years, then they give you those numbers. That's again tempting. But no, let me stop here. let me moderate my life. And once that knowledge comes in, then you say, that was a best decision of my life. And today you feel sorry for those people who are doing the same, you can say that, ruckus. For what they already have, they have been wasting their life. So here, this transcendence has to happen within us with Dvandva Atita, where you are saying, Vimatsara we are saying. So when somebody else is doing well, okay, that is his life. Now I know something which is much higher, which I have understood. So let me have this as my firm goal in my life, and you move forward. So in this way one has to start moving ahead in life. That is extremely important. Okay. Now, sama siddhau asiddhau cha. Here it means when you are working, don't look at success and failure. Every act is offered to the Lord. So in that action which is offered with that sacrifice bhava, here the Lord uses the word yagna, which we are going to study in much more depth and detail. He says that don't ever look at failure or success, because any action done at the altar of the Lord, it cannot be bifurcated into success and failure. So he gives this highest knowledge again. He says, don't compare yourself. And every time you keep saying, how many number of times ever you could say in a day, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu Idam Namama Om Tat Sat Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartham. I am doing this all for the sake of the Lord. And once you start doing on these lines, then Kritvapi na bhadyate, your every action done will only clean you but will not bind you. It will only release you but it will not put you into bondage. So this is this great teachings which Lord Krishna has been giving over here. I hope you all are doing the self-assessment, and now we'll go to verse 23 and we'll see what Lord has to say over there. I'll just post the slide, we'll read the verse and move forward. Okay. Shri Bhagawanuvacha Gata Sangasya Muktasya Jnanavastita Chetasaha Yajnaya Charata Karma Samagram Praviliyate. Now, here Lord Krishna, as you can say, is summing up basically on all what he has told so far. He is trying to sum up in this verse, and the next verse, verse 24, is going to be one of the most enlightening verse. And we are going to go into great depths on that particular verse, because it's like a red flag. If we understand that verse, not only listen, understand. Not only understand, but get the experience of the meaning of that verse, then we are very close to what we want to achieve on this path. So before this, now what is this summing up he does? Let's get a understanding of that. So what the Lord is trying to tell us is, I'll just give an overall synopsis and then we'll go into depth. Look at the reality. Don't just look at what you have been looking at life, hitherto you have been observing. No, change your perception. Understand that this whole creation is functioning in a particular manner. You can look into the data which is provided by physics, by astrophysics, and by the astronomy, and then look at what medicine has to tell about your body. Connect the glory of the entire creation, this reality, this supreme truth. Then look at your own experiences, your own lives. Is there anything in this world which gives us permanent happiness all the time? Permanent happiness means all the time. Now, where you can say, I don't need more, or again, I am truly contented, truly satisfied, and truly fulfilled. Can we say this? Because any kind of a situation or a person or an object or an institution which there is no such kind of a thing which can guarantee you total fulfillment, total satisfaction. That paripurnatva, what we talk, that completeness, that santrupti. No. You have to depend on something or the other at some point of time or the other in your life. So, is there anything like that in this world where I don't have to depend on? Meaning in the worldly sense, we are dependent on something or the other. But is there where I depend on something and that can completely give me what I am not getting in this world? And here the Lord talks about this paripurnatva is that Atma GNANA, Atma Sahakara. That is what he talks about here. He further explains, he says, you love something only because you like it. And why do you like it? Because it satisfies you. Only because it satisfies you, you like it. And that thing becomes dear to you. So if something is dear to you and it has to be likable, it has to satisfy your requirements from time to time. If something does not satisfy you, we don't mind changing that thing. Look at our lives. In fact, if you have to, it's so demeaning, people change their devotion to gods. Earlier, I remember you were a Hanumanji Bhakta. Now what happened? You are going to Ganesha. Yeah, it was earlier I was doing, but then my friend told me that with so and so temple, Ganesha's temple, his life changed. So I am also trying that. See, we don't understand the principle of prarabdha here. And we even go to the extent of changing gods. Forget gods, we even change religions. So this way, you have to get things in the right perspective. There is one thing which is nirvikalpa, nirakara, ananda, and that is your own true self which is within you. Why don't you go there? Yes, because I don't know how to go there. And the world is always drawing me towards it. My senses are drawing me and I am never able to reach that place. Yes, I here and there I listen to people telling me, I read about this, but I am not able to tap it. You know, Ramana Maharshi, once a disciple came to his ashram and he says, I want to realize God. So Ramana Maharshi says, Chumairu. And so it was gathering of various disciples. Chumayuru means keep quiet. So poor fellow, he got disappointed. He came back and he sat where he was sitting earlier. And then again, the next day when he got a chance, he goes and prostrates to Ramana Maharshi and he says, I want to realize God. He says, keep quiet. He says this, and this fellow again is taken back. Now this went on for a few days. Then he got vexed. He goes and asks one of the senior disciples, I heard so much about this Swamiji. He even can read mind. You don't have to ask a question. Even before you ask, he can tell you the answer. But what is this here? Ramana Maharshi is telling me. I tried to talk to him. He asks me to shut down, shut my mouth. What is this? So the disciple was seeing this. So he tells him, what is he telling you? Chumayuru, he said, meaning keep quiet. Then that is what exactly is the answer to your question. Meaning keep quiet, meaning keep all your senses withdrawn. Once you withdraw all your senses, your mind becomes calm. And once your mind becomes calm, then you will be able to see that Atma Shakti within. When you are with so much of action, it is not seen. Now, let's say you have this, they call jugnu, this light, these worms which have light in their body. Now, in bright sunlight, you can't see that. Because compared to the sunlight, that light is very poor and meager. But the same thing can be seen in darkness with so much of beauty and glory. So in the same way, you need to obstruct the senses which are continuously drawing you towards the world. So this is the meaning of Chumayuru, keep quiet. So the person understood and he was satisfied and he said, now I am going to practice this. So in this way the Lord is telling us here that you need to practice whatever is told over here, not just learn and then keep quiet. No, you maintain a record on each and every quality what we are talking and start measuring your progress. Gata Sangasya. Don't over expect with respect to the fruits of the action. And don't be over attached to the fruits of your action. See, one is we expect. And as we expect, let's say we get something. Yeah, your prarabdha was good, things have come to you. As you have got something, you start getting attached to it. I'll discuss about what is attachment later on. So you get more and more attached, meaning you want it again and again. See, there are so many students. You see them, what percentage you got? 95. But they have a sunken face. Why? Over expectation. I was looking at 96, 97 and what is this? I got 95. So know that the Lord is the karma phaladata. And when He is the karma phaladata, He is giving with keeping an account of the past as well. Now, if you have taken a loan from the bank and you also have deposit with the bank, you have calculated now for the deposit I am going to get say X money. Say let's say it's ₹1,00,000. I am going to get this as my interest. But the banker, what he does is there is a loan of 80,000, meaning interest on that loan of 80,000 rupees. He will deduct that and he will give you that 20,000 rupees. You don't know what your other deeds are. So you have to understand that there is some divine force which is regulating all this and start accepting. Now you are watching a cricket match and you as a, let's say you are on the side of the bowler and you say now we should get a wicket. Now when the bowler is also bowling, he has an intention that he should get this wicket. And what is the batsman view? The batsman view is that I should hit a 4 or 6. Now who decides? Both have got a strong want and both are doing the karma to the best. And that, whether it goes for a 4 or a 6 or it is the wicket is down, that is decided by karma phaladata. So now if you study this from a practical point of view, one should not keep the result in mind. I'll tell you a very beautiful correlation of this aspect with one of the recent great books in vogue now. Karmanye Vadikaraste, one of the most revered shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter 47 verse. Karmanye Vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbuhu mate sangostva karmani. Now it says, don't chase the results of your action. We have heard this several times. Just you have your hold only on the action, but not on the fruits of the action. You know, this book, Atomic Habits, written by James Clear, what he says is, he was trying on various endeavors in life, James Clear. He says, I succeeded in a few, but failed in a lot of them. Yeah, maybe he tried in about 20 and he must have succeeded in 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it is. And eventually he says, I began to realize that my results had very little to do with the goals I set. Now understand this, how each and every word is giving the core of Bhagavad Gita. And now this is one of the topmost books in vogue in the current trend. So he says, I began to realize that my results had very little to do with the goals I had set in my mind and nearly everything to do with the systems I followed. Now what is the difference between systems and goals? Goals are about the results you want to achieve and systems are about the processes that lead to that result. I'll explain this with some examples. Goals are about the results you want to achieve and systems are about the processes that lead to that result. Meaning what? Let's say he gives an example, his own examples I'm giving. Like if you are a coach, your goal might be to win a championship. It could be a football coach or a cricket coach. But your systems is the way you recruit players, your managers, your coaches, and how do you conduct practice. Now that will decide your winning the championship and not just you having a goal to win a championship. And he again gives our second example is, let's say if you are an entrepreneur, your goal might be to build $1 million business. That is your goal. And what is your system? Your system is how you test product ideas, how you hire employees, how you run marketing campaigns. So means, what is Lord Krishna saying? Don't look at the goal, look at your work, meaning the systems. Are you following what systems you had in mind? What is the system? I'll give my own personal example. Let's say you have invited your friends, very dear friends, and you want to give a nice, delicious dinner for them. Okay. Now your goal is to give a delicious dinner to all your friends. Now what are the systems? If you have to compare, you have to ensure that first the cook has to be to the mark. No compromise on the cook. Second, no compromise on the veggies you are buying. Ensure that you get the right quality veggies, fresh. Then on the groceries. Then on the cooking oil what you use. So all these are the systems which you need to follow to get a delicious, tasty meal. See, many a times a person who makes very good tea, he makes tea and then you drink and you say, hey, what is this? He says, milk is not good. So in the same way, milk is what now? A system, a part of that system which was responsible to give you the result in terms of good tea, which was your goal, but system failed. So don't look at the goal or the result again and again, but rather focus on your systems. Whether I am following all that need to be followed on a daily basis or on an intraday basis, that will give you the result. So without focusing on the goals and keeping much focus on the system, one can achieve results. Okay. So this muktasya, as told earlier, sarva tyakta parigraha, get rid of that deha abhimana, that parivar abhimana. Mukta means abhimana, ego, egotism, pride, and live like a nirlipta. How can you do this? GNANA vastita chetasaha. Nirlipta means unattached. Be put in that knowledge. What knowledge? Not worldly knowledge, but in the essence of the Creator and the created. Keep your mind established in the thought of the Shanta Swarupa Bhagavan. That is the thought. Rather you keep thinking of some person, depends on the kind of person you are thinking, and your mind gets agitated to that extent. So not your mind only, but your chetasa, meaning that Chetana Shakti, what you have within you. Think about that Chetana Shakti. And where is this Chetana Shakti coming? It is coming from the Chaitanya Shakti, that which is completely pervading the entire universe. So such a person who does karma, no doubt being in the world, Yagnaya charata karma. He says he is doing it with the spirit of yagna. Here yagna as a ritual, a worship of the Lord. So other meaning for yagna is yagneva Vishnuhu. Yagna vahanaha means Vishnu. Doing karma only and only for the sake of the Lord. So when a person does on these lines, Lord Krishna says, karma will not taint him. Meaning he will be free of karma. So now we will study a little more about this in depth of verse 23 in the next class, and then we'll take the master stroke, which is the 24th verse. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Nama. Om Tat Sat. Now let's look at the divine names. Verse number 34. इष्टो विशिष्टशिष्टेष्टः शिखण्डी नहुषो वृषः क्रोधः क्रोधकृत्कर्ता विश्वबाहुर्महीधरः. Shikhandi 311. One who wears Shikhanda. Shikhanda is the peacock feather. Lord Krishna is described in Bhagavad as having been adored with the eye of the peacock feather, especially in his early child and boyhood days. So with that he gets the name Ashikandi. 312. Nahushaha. Here the term Nahanam means bondage. Therefore, the term stands for one who is familiar with bondages. In Vedanta, the word Ishvara is a supreme consciousness conditioned by the total causal body, that is Maya. At the same time, Ishvara is one who has the Maya under his control. It can also be understood as one who binds all creatures of the world with the cord of Maya. Those who are the students of the Puranas interpret this word as one whose glory was expressed in the particular magnificence in Nahushaha, who gained the office of Ra. So, to such a divine Lord, we offer our humble salutation and seek His blessing. Now, let's read the Dhanvantari mantra 3 times. ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। ॐ नमो भगवते महासुदर्शनाय वासुदेवाय धन्वन्तरये अमृतकलशहस्ताय सर्वभयविनाशाय सर्वरोगनिवारणाय त्रैलोक्यपतये त्रैलोक्यनिधये श्रीमहाविष्णुस्वरूप श्रीधन्वन्तरी स्वरूप श्री 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 औषधचक्र नारायणाय स्वाहा। We offer our humble prayers to Lord Dhanvantari. We beseech in him to give us to grace us with the relevant amount of health to achieve our goals and mission in life. Om Tat. Now let's do the Siddhi Samadhi Yoga, Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana. All of you, please be comfortable wherever you all are seated. Relax your entire body for the next 10 minutes. Seek complete cooperation from your body. Massage any portion of the body which is paining a bit. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Completely relax your face, your forehead, your cheeks, your jawline, your eyes, your neck, shoulders, your chest and abdomen, and your lower body. Now let's take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale as deep as you can. Three times. Now let's do the Antarika Drishanavitsa Vikalpa Samadhi, where you are witnessing your mind, the thoughts in your mind. You're a pure witness to all the thoughts which erupt in your mind. And without being judgmental, without paying any heed to the thoughts, you see that the thoughts gradually move ahead. Observe the number of thoughts slowly reducing in your mind. Be completely absorbed in observing the mind as a witness. Now slowly bring your focus on the breath, prana vikshan. Keep observing the breath. Watch the inhalation and exhalation of your breath. Become aware of who you are, where you are seated, and the surroundings. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes. Gently and lovingly open your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together with obeisance, we offer today's Gita Gnana Yagna at the lotus feet of the Lord and seek His grace, the blessings. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Namama. Om.